Well, good morning. All right, we're going to talk about something super important to do if you're in these hot climates before it gets too hot, okay? We're going to get those trunks and branches protected. Um, there's an organic way to do this. I personally do it this way because you can do this with just clay, and that's organic. Or you can do this with a little bit of latex, or all latex, or all clay. Latex is going to help it hold better. The clay will come off with water, so I add just a little bit of latex to my mixture. Let me show you. It's just ordinary white latex. White's going to reflect. Buy this at Home Depot, whatever your store is. And this is Callan clay, Surround WP. Now, if you want to be just organic, you can use this. This is it's organic. It's clay. It's like a powdery substance. I think they have this all sorts of different shapes and sizes, but there are specific ones that you want to use. Can you see it? And it was like powder. It's like powdered sugar. It's like powdered sugar. I don't know what you were thinking, but I'm thinking powdered sugar. And pretty much all you do is you add water to this, and you make a consistency that you want. This is what it looks like in a bag. It comes in a pretty big bag. This is the kind that I use. It's gonna last you forever because the amount that it takes is crazy. Like I've been using the same bag for at least 3 years when I found this out. Like I don't know if any of you live in California or places where they have like avocado gardens or things like that. When you see all that white on the leaves, it's generally some sort of mixture as this. Ivy Organics has some of this in their product. Like this is, it's all natural. You can put this on your trunks and things like that. The issue with this though is that it comes off with water. So if you're hand watering anything and you put this on your trunks, then you're gonna be washing it off. That's why I add a little bit of latex. And some people just use latex. Like as long as you're not getting on your fruit, you're good. It's kind of up to you, whichever way you want to do it. I'm just giving you some ideas. You add water to this. You can make it as thick as you want or as thin. I generally say you do thinner and you add more layers. This is the latex I'm adding. Is it organic? No. However, it's what adds that stickiness to things, and since I hand water at least once a week, this holds it together. It binds, like when I don't know if you're any barbecuers out there, but you put mustard or mayonnaise on your ribs and then you put the seasoning on. Same concept. You need a binder if you want it to stick forever. And this really doesn't take much. I really just add a little bit in there. You can try to mix your consistency. I don't have measurements since I just do things by hand and I just do it randomly and I mix. Let's show you. Alright, so you already saw how much clay I put in there. I'm just going to add some latex. If you just want to do it organically, omit this step. And as you can see, I barely put any in here. And it's going to be thinned out as well. Like you're not trying to just put thick paint on your tree. And then what I'm going to do is add some water. Like so. And then you mix well. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now there's additives you can put in here. Maybe you want some cinnamon, lavender, things like that, lavender oil. This is already a deterrent by itself. Surround WP is a deterrent for bugs and things like that. If you put some like a pinch of cinnamon or this lavender, those also will deter bugs. So you kind of look for the type of bugs that you have and decide what to add to it. Ants, for instance, hate cinnamon, or if you just want it to smell nice, it's up to you. There's so many different applications things you can add to this. And now I'm just gonna mix this till it's well mixed, and then I'm gonna check the consistency. It's a little bit runny for me, but it's gonna do. You can make this thicker, you can add more clay, but as you can see, this is pretty much watered down. And you know what? If you want to change your consistency, you just add more of what you want. In this case, I want just a little bit more. a little bit more. Look at me, I just don't want to waste anything. A little bit more of the paint, the latex, and I'm just gonna mix it thoroughly. I'm filling around at the bottom, making sure that I get all the clay at the bottom. I don't want to fill any thickness at the bottom. Check the consistency. Add more clay or add more of whatever your binder is. I've seen people use oils in this as binders. Again, I'm just showing you, giving you the tools. What you do with that is up to you. But this is a must, and what this does is going to protect, it's going to deter. You want to be able to reflect that sun, especially on the trunks and your tropicals, as you'll see. If you have tropicals, what happens is they don't create bark on their own for quite a while. So things will burn, and then you don't know until like the next year. Like, it takes so much time for you to realize, and then once it's burned, it's burned. So you got to get ahead of it. I think I like that. Frankly, I'm going to put this on everything. Get yourself a little cheap brush. I try to use them one per year. Let's get to it. So this one's mostly done. I just replanted this. This is the persimmon tree. And we're going to get all the way down to the top roots. And you want to start from the top because it's going to be runny. And then that way you can just kind of blend it in. And you just paint your happy tree just like this. Make it a happy tree. A little bit goes a long way. This cup is for all the trees that I have that I'm going to be putting this on. This is probably too much. And this is only the first step in protecting your trees. And if anything, you just want to do the side that gets the setting sun. If you're trying to do this with just clay organically, you would let this dry, go do other trees, come back, and then do another layer until you're happy. Yep, on to the next. So this is what it looks like, completely barren, of course. I haven't painted this one ever. I just got this tree not that long ago. And this is what I'm talking about. You do it at the top and let it run down. And then what I generally do, I don't want it in the soil per se. So I do it at the top, let it run down. And then I paint upwards and just kind of smear it in. Now again, if you do this with kaolin clay, it's completely organic, so it doesn't matter as much. But when you spray this, like a good 2-3 sprays, and it's gonna be gone. Now you can do this in layers, have it thinner and do it in layers, or you can make it thicker and just do it the first time. Tropicals are more particular because their growth is different. Theoretically, what happens is the leaves grow, and that's what protects the tree, so you don't have to paint it. That's the idea with all trees, but then you also got to think about that you're in a different zone than where they normally grow. But on something like avocados or your mangoes or you really particular tropicals, all this green is the further the new growth is the furthest ones that are out, and they're gonna burn, man. They can burn. Especially when we're talking about up to 120 degrees. All of that needs to get painted because it's not going to be turned brown. It takes like 3-4 years before you get any of that hard brown bark. You got to protect it, man. You got to. And I go this far back. I'm going to make another video about the second stage of what I do later, but I get the entire branch, and you just take your time. Like, you got to think that when you mess up in your garden, like, you got to wait a year for things to be fixed, and sometimes you don't even know what happens. How much would it suck that next year you get fruit on this branch only to find out that it's burnt and it's not going to hold anything? You know, think ahead through some of this.
Yes, sir.
Does a fig need this? Maybe not. I'm gonna do it anyway because it gets so much sun. Absolutely important on apples. I ain't playing. I ain't leaving nothing up to possibilities. Pretty much it. See, if you take a look here on this 3-year-old avocado, 3 or so, now it's just finally starting to get that brown bark. You really want to get these all protected before that happens. And then what happens is things will establish if you allow things to grow and don't take the fruit off of it immediately. Like let things, the first couple years, take all the fruit off of things, let things grow, get bigger, get more leaves. The leaves are what's going to protect that inside. But a lot of times what happens, a lot of things get fruit and then we want to take it off of it. We want to leave that on there, let it produce fruit. Fruit's going to take away from the energy of the actual tree itself for growing. And when you have microclimates like this, things on top of each other, all the leaves are going to start protecting each other, and eventually you don't have to worry about it. But it's super important for things that are super young or anything that's green. That's it for this one, though. This monster. Leave me a comment if this makes any sense to you. You have any other questions, concerns? Do you like content like this? It lets me know what to do next. Do the liking, the sharing, subscribing. More importantly, though, when are you going to go outside? Start your own garden. This is super rewarding, people. Zone 9. Vegas. Jeez. Let's grow.